All right, welcome back for our final match of week 4 here for our feature matches. And we got a couple of newer players to us, at least. We have David G here, who I believe it's his first league. So, first time I'll be seeing him play. And then on the other side, we have Zev, who I think it's only his third league, but he's already been in a top 8. He was in the Rookie of the Year, so quite accomplished, even with only being on the server a few months. What's going on in Zev's hand over there?
We got 2 islands, a Glimmerburst, a Warbriar Blessing, and an Acolyte of Affliction.
All right, so it looks like a little Sultai deck here, and we got another Rakdos deck going on David's side. So I checked the players' records; they're both at 9 losses. David's at 8-9, Zev's at 10-9. So David's on 58 cards, and Zev's on a lean, mean 50 cards. So both of them have some losses under their belts. Both of them have, a few, at least a couple cards from other sets. I see a couple of Vow cards in hand here for David. He has the Clockwork Percussionist, Fear of Lost Teeth. He has 2 Final Vengeances, so looking kind of reminiscent to Joaquin's deck. And from Crimson Vow, he has the Voldaran Epicure, the 1/1, makes a blood, and he has Bloody Betrayal, which is a an active treason effect with 2 Final Vengeance in hand. He should be able to make very good use of that. And obviously a very scary card in play here, the Unholy Annex.
Yeah, looks like we have another aggro, maybe a little more controlling matchup here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody in the league is going to have a deck as controlling as the deck we saw earlier from Dan, but
No, I don't think
definitely
so.
David is presenting himself as the beatdown here. But with just a bunch of 1/1s, it's not too much of a beatdown yet. But if Zev can't answer the demon, it's gonna be a rough one. And I mean this is the absolute best deck for the Unholy Annex and the Ritual Chamber, because if they do remove your demon, you do have many ways to sacrifice the enchantment that makes you lose 2 life every turn.
Absolutely. So we've drawn an entity tracker that's going to hit the battlefield.
Ready,
There's a
Jeff?
Spine Seeker Centipede, but also an Ephemia that's going to follow up the tracker.
Well, that's a
Get a
fun
little,
one.
get a little
That's a cool
value
one.
there. Mm-hmm.
That's a very cool one. So at the beginning of your end step, you can exile an enchantment from your graveyard. If you do, you make a 2/2. I mean, yeah, it'll come up once in a while.
If only the token was also an enchantment for this entity tracker. Oh, we draw Metamize Prophecy.
Well, that's fine. All right. So it looks like he's gone at least a little bit deep into the Theros, which is possibly why he's got his deck so low here at 50. So he's been taking those -4s, and he's been getting a bunch of Theros cards and some good ones.
Yeah, and the Prophecy will eventually make it to the graveyard if the Cacophony lives so long.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, he doesn't even have to Bloody Betrayal. He could just Final Vengeance, the Fear of Lost Teeth, and kill off both of these threats all in one neat little package if he wants to.
That seems pretty appealing.
Yeah, I mean, you could also sack the Undead Sprinter, but I mean, you get to kill both this way, so. And unlike Valgavoth, no Shard Mage's Rescue to mess this up.
Nope.
Huh. Looks like he wants to exile the Ephemia, the Cacophony, and sacking the Undead Sprinter. Okay. Is he now just going to kill off the rest of the board with the Fear of Lost Teeth, or I guess he's figuring out what the best move is here.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna sack the Fear of Lost Teeth and kill off both threats, but with another Final Vengeance in hand, he can still kill off everything the opponent has on the other side.
Yeah, I mean maybe Zev's gonna get away with one here.
Yeah, so attacking all here, okay. He doesn't have anything that deals damage specifically. Maybe he's
Zev,
just putting the fear in his
yeah,
opponent.
Zev not even considering blocking the percussionist here, which he had a chance to the previous turn to play uh, the draw spell and block, but he didn't even think about it. So
Percussionist, like I never want to block it, but you have to at
no,
some point. Can't just let this stupid thing keep hitting you. I mean, I get wanting to push a couple damage and then getting a 3/3 play. I think I would want this entity tracker gone as soon as possible.
absolutely. That gives you the old grown test. When you see that across the battlefield and you don't have removal for it, it's
Yeah, yeah. Interesting that he'd rather kill the 2/1 flyer than this 2/3 that can draw cards. And I guess it's sort of like this old idea of like, well, if I'm beating down my opponent, they can have their card draw engine because they're not going to be able to use all the cards. But he's not really beating him down fast enough to put on the pressure, right? Like opponents
yeah.
still at 13, they have cards in hand, they're drawing something here, they're getting to scry and set up their draws. So usually, if I can, I'm killing entity tracker immediately. I'm making that my priority and getting that off the board. It already drew a card, so all right. Well, here's another
Yeah,
card.
and it drew a spicy one here, a shadow spear.
Shadow Sphere. That's a heck of a card too. Yeah,
Of which there are two in Zev's pool.
two of them. Well, they're legendary, right? So at least there's that.
That's true.
I don't believe you're gonna have somebody wielding double Shadow Spears, but yeah, that is a good one. We see a mountain here, so perhaps he's in the sphere of more than just three colors here potentially. I guess we'll see during sideboarding.
Okay, we haven't seen. He's got a Clothis, God of Destiny, in his pool, so that could
That
be.
that could be it. That one, man, it just eats away at the opponent's graveyard and just domes them for damage every turn.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a good one. All right, so Cynical Loner drawn here for David. He also has the Stick Twister in hand and the Bloody Betrayal and Final Vengeance. So, I mean, is this the turn? Is this the turn you kill the 2/3? and
Yeah, or do you make a demon and hope it can't be dealt with?
well, he has a swamp, so he could do both because he has the Final Vengeance, and then he could play his other swamp and make a
Okay.
demon. So yeah, I think he's maybe thinking, I kind of wish I did this last turn, but you know,
Yeah, and Zev's hand is again. He's got an Acolyte of Affliction, a Warbriar Blessing, another Centipede, and this mountain that we can all see. So he does not have a way to deal with the 6/6 demon.
yeah. So I think he's saying it's time this 2/3 is gone, or maybe not. He was about to target it, but it's gonna take a moment to think about what's going on here. But the Shadow Sphere is gonna be such a problem.
It definitely is going to be a problem.
Like +1/+1 lifelink. Right, so he's gone for the steal it, make a blood, and then he'll sack it to kill the other one.
Okay.
Huh. I mean, if you trade off the centipede, he can't actually sacrifice it, can he?
No, he'd have no legal target,
I mean, he
right?
could target his own creature. That doesn't. That seems. I don't know. I mean, it's legal.
Yeah, I suppose. And honestly, I might do it. I mean, I don't want that thing back over there.
Okay, he's just said I'm pushing damage here. So yeah, I think before combat I like sacking it, exiling the 2/1, then you get to attack for 5. This way, he still gets the entity tracker. You just pushed a couple damage, but I mean, he still has the option to kill it next turn. But he's doing a number on the life total. He's gotten him. He has presented a bit more pressure than he was in the at the very beginning. Um, Zeb does have a choice to make here with his stick twister now.
Yeah, he's got the mountain selected, and I guess and then he draws the Clothius right after
It
that.
always works. It always works like that, doesn't it?
Uh-huh. Okay, so he gets to choose a card name. Let's see what he'll Try and set up for the next turn.
Yeah, this card is this is a card that's good in an extremely slow matchup. I mean, if you can get it on turn two, I guess it's fine. But in the later turns, it's hard to slot it in if you're trying to keep up with what your opponent's doing because it takes a very long time to be able to draw cards with this.
Yeah, he's got the acolyte named, so that's gonna be the plan here.
Okay, so in comes another centipede.
See if he's got another mountain. Maybe that was part of the. It does not. Oh, he does have another mountain. So here we go.
I feel like even if I only need one basic land of a type for a splash, I still always play two just because of manifest.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah.
you're playing one mountain and you manifest your mountain, well, that's done.
No, I learned that lesson quickly in this set for sure.
Yeah, so even in draft, when I have like a bunch of basic land searchers and maybe even like dual lands or whatever, I'll just put two basics just to be safe. Especially when I'm playing green with all the manifest stuff. So um, yeah, he's got his Clothis here, so unlikely it'll ever become a creature, but it is just gonna eat away at the graveyard and deal damage. So
And was an enchantment just for a little extra value. But the card that Zev drew was his second Shadow Spear.
okay, well if it ever goes away, he'll be able to present it once again. All right, so here he's gonna use the blood token. He's got a popular egotist now, which is also seems to fit right in with his deck. Still has the final vengeance as well. Surprised he hasn't made the demon here. This could have been this would have been presenting a very big threat to Zev's life total.
Yeah, and currently has no way to deal with it still.
Yeah. In the meantime, he's drawing two cards a turn, but at the cost of two life. Yeah. Usually I'm wanting to make that demon immediately most of the time. It's rare that any other line of play that I would have is going to be better than just making the demon. But he's been careful about trying to get in as much damage as he can here. Only attack here is the 3/3.
Okay,
And yes, I was pretty happy just trading off.
think so.
Like everything, like basically almost every card that he's played has got him value in some way. Whether it's drawing a card off Entity Tracker, the centipedes replace themselves.
Do we have another land? Are we going to see the demon finally, or we got
Does
another play
does
going?
does have lands in hand here. Might be time. He says, "Okay,
Okay.
it's time." The thing is that Klothys also just gains life, which is offsets the two life here from the room.
Yep, and he's going to be able to pitch the second spear. Doesn't need that thing.
What a flex!
Mm-hmm.
What a flex! Yeah. So David drew a cracked skull here, which is the that aura where you can look at an opponent's hand. But I mean, Klothys is nice to have, but it's not going to race a 6/6 if there's no answer to it.
Yeah, the draw was a swamp, so still no answer.
He does get to draw two.
Spine Seeker Centipede and a Gloomlake Verge, the
Oh,
blue
he's
black
he's milled and
duel.
unable to scream, so that can actually answer the demon. Of note, um, unlike some of these enchantments, it does keep its creature type. So it's a
Still
it's
a
a it's
demon.
a demon toy now.
Oh, but he's gonna have to fight it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Yep,
All right,
that seems like a
so
reasonable play.
he's done a pretty good job keeping himself alive here, and I mean, I feel like the extra cards from the entity tracker have really come back to benefit Zev, where that entity tracker could have been long gone
Mm-hmm.
because he's just drawn what 4 or 5 cards off of it when he could have just killed it after one card draw.
Yeah, and he's getting through a lot of lands too, which he could have been stuck for a while.
Yeah, I mean, David still has plenty of cards in hand. He's been drawing 2 cards a turn here. Is it finally time? Is it finally time to final vengeance this thing off the face of the earth? I mean, it's almost like once they've drawn a certain amount of cards, you just don't want to kill it anymore. You're like, I'm so behind on cards. But luckily, he's not behind on cards because he's been drawing from the room. See how he decides to do this. I think cracked skull probably to look at the hand here and take something out of it.
Yeah, he's only gonna find a centipede and 3 lands.
I think he's going to be pretty happy about that. Yeah, David's like, okay, I can maybe deal with this.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong here. The Clothless is just going to be extremely irritating.
Now, would the tracker have been your target for the cracked skull?
I would have just been wanting to kill this thing since it hit the battlefield, but he's going to target now the acolyte with the final vengeance. So yeah, not sure why this entity tracker has not been targeted yet, but he does have a glassworks that he drew. So he said, "Let me just
Yeah.
get this and let me just do this." Put my opponent to one. I mean, in the meantime, while we're talking about all this, he is just killing his creatures and attacking,
Yeah,
which
there is
is
that.
not bad at all. So he is gonna actually Zev is gonna need quite a bit here because David has a popular egotist in hand, so he doesn't have to go through attacking to win now.
Okay. The final chapter of the prophecy is not terribly exciting.
Let's just look at the top card of each player's library, I believe.
Yep. Yep,
Something
that'll do it.
random like this. Yeah. So he was able to get the right amount of damage in to win the game. Just obviously way too many lands here for Zev. Even with those extra card draws, a lot of them were lands, unfortunately for him. So David figures out the way to get to lethal, and we get to go to game two very shortly. He's anything interesting we see Zev doing?
Well, what I notice is that this is a straight Sultai. This is 3 colors
Yeah.
plus the red splash for the God and Beastie Beatdown. So his mana's stretched. It's got 4 centipedes, so he can get around that. But um, this is really for me. This might be a Vader build. I don't know. I don't know what you would think about that.
We would try not to use the V word when we're doing the recordings. We don't want to demean people's mana bases, but
Well, I
yeah,
certainly did mean it to me.
it's hard. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, there's still a fail case. Like even if your mana is good, there's still a fail case. Like there's always the fail case, and the fail case is you don't get to play the game, which is pretty bad. Like it's rare in a two-color deck or a two-color deck with a very light splash that you just get locked out of playing the game due to mana issues.
Yeah.
Like there's been games where I lost because I just never drew my second color, but it doesn't happen that often. Interesting. Okay, I see. He hasn't done too much sideboarding yet. I do see a second hero's downfall that he's not running. I guess he figures he has enough removal between his 4 final vengeances, come back wrong, and others. But yeah, I mean, hero's downfall is just it's just better. It's just murder, but better.
Yeah, and
Yes.
not a lot of changes over here either.
No.
But has a lot of options. It's got a Timuret. That's always a fun card. That's in the deck already.
Oh, the double black one.
Hmm.
Yeah, double black. I always
No,
like the double
no.
black 2 drops.
I'm sorry. It's Timuret Calls the Dead, not Timuret
Oh,
the
the
creature.
yeah, the saga.
Yep, the Saga.
I believe it makes a couple zombies, and then you get
It
to
does.
oh, the last level I think is like Scry X, and opponent loses X equal to the amount of zombies you control.
That's
Something
correct.
like
That is
this.
exactly what it is. Yep.
Yeah, it's like mill some cards and then exile a creature enchantment for your graveyard, make it 2/2, so you can do that twice, and you can drain. Uh, yeah, it's
Two
like every
carry
it's like
activates.
everything that the Scarab God does, except like very very much worse.
Right.
Well, it makes zombies, scries, drains life.
Only Timur was only a demigod, right? Not the full god.
Exactly. Well, he started off as just a regular creature back in like the original Theros, but he ascended to demigod at some point.
I'm sure there was a cool story behind that.
I mean, his original card was a Rakdos card. It was Timoret the Murder King. That was literally the name of the card. So
Oh,
Timoret's cool. Yeah,
that is cool.
that was from the olden days. Yeah, so David did submit a minute or so ago, but Zev is
We've
still
so
looking over.
the stick twister left
Okay,
the squad.
huh? I think that 2/2 lifelink would be like pretty okay against a deck that
Hmm.
seems to want to be low to the ground against you, but perhaps he's got a better plan.
It looks like two Fears of the Dark have come in, and Fairy's Band Brawler has left.
5 mana, 5/5. Okay. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you just want a big body, I guess. Yeah, Zev, if I remember, he in the Bloomberg League had this very frightening deck that by I think week 4 he had whittled down to only 3 drops and under. So
Oh,
nothing in the deck
really?
that cost more than 4 because he had 2 copies of that Dark Star Augur, which was like the bat that you draw a card, draw an extra card, but you lose life equal to its mana value, and it had Offspring. So basically,
Wow.
yeah. So he went super disciplined with that. Like he just said no cards above 4 mana. Doesn't matter what they are, how good they are. So if he's playing 3 or 4 colors, I figure he's got a good grasp on why he's doing it and what the game plan is. So what's he working with this game?
So we've got three other lands, and we've got an Acolyte of Affliction, and we've got a Beastie Beatdown, and he notably does not have red mana.
Okay, I mean red's his fourth color, and he does have ways to seek it out, and that card's not needed for the time being yet.
Not going to do anything now.
Yeah, so just sort of an okay hand here for David. He has 2 Vengeful Possession, so that's the act of treason from
Uh
this
huh.
set, and he has one of the other ones from Crimson Vow that we saw last game. So he does have a Final Vengeance, so he does have the little 2 card combo here. He's got Voldaren Epicure and Final Vengeance, and he's got some tap lands here in hand. The Shadow Spear is pretty frightening.
Yeah, if you can stick creatures long enough to get the life going, it's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah, it
pretty
came
good.
down a little late last game to be impactful. Yeah, he's just going to play the hand that feeds. He has 2 tap lands in hand, so he'll be playing those over the next couple turns here.
And so we got a Centipede for the draw, so he'll decide between that and just getting the Affliction out, the Acolyte out.
Yeah, Zakla of Affliction, it's mill 2, and then you can return any, I believe, permanent from your graveyard.
Yes, correct. It's permanent. So he's going to choose not to risk it, I suppose.
Yeah,
And
it's pretty small chance that you don't hit a permanent, but there's also a pretty big chance that you don't hit something impactful
yeah,
if you're just flipping 2 cards blindly with nothing else in the graveyard. So he can definitely make better use of it later on than now, clearly. Yeah, so
and
these
this
vengeful
was
possessions just looking kind of, not incredible here. I mean, if he wants to push damage, he can, play the vengeful possession, and it's just to get in 2 damage and a blocker out of the way for a turn. But his opponent's not gonna. It's only gonna be a 14 if that happens.
yeah, that doesn't seem super exciting.
Yeah, this is why like I've always been on the not a fan of the active treason effects. Just because like when they're not useful, they're so not useful. Like you just can't even cast it. Really, it's not going to do enough. Like when it's good, it can be game breaking, but the game needs to be engineered in such a fashion. And I mean, red black, it's well supported, but there's still you get draws where you're just sitting with two in hand like in this game, and it's not accomplishing what it's here for.
Yeah, or you could be playing Dan and
Yeah,
play some creatures.
I mean, once they Valgavoth onslaught, you could grab one of those, I guess. But
That's true. That's true.
yeah, so like he's sitting here with Final Vengeance and two Vengeful Possessions, so he can spend two cards to kill, two of opponent's creatures. It's not, like you're not breaking the game. You're just it's like a two for two, right? Let's see what
Yeah.
Zev's options are here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean this game doesn't look that dissimilar to the last one. Like David just played a couple small creatures and was like attacking, and eventually opponent was like at a low life total out of seemingly nowhere a bit. But this game, it looks the same at the outset. Yeah, so I mean, the Warbar Blessing, not like a super important creature to use it on the hand that feeds, but just wants to just put on the pressure, gain some life, and make it difficult on David over here.
Oh yeah, and that was a 9 point life swing, so that definitely is going to make things more difficult for the more aggressive deck.
Yeah, and kind of like before, with opponent only controlling one creature, the steal your creature, sack it to kill another creature is not going to be very effective here. I mean, he could just sack his rat to exile the centipede. But I mean, Zev can just
Yeah,
play something else and slap the Shadows Pure on it.
I'm sure Zev would be happy to see target for this beastie beatdown, gain some more life, get some more damage in.
Yeah, that would be pretty useful. He is just going to exile it here. He says, "I can't handle this right now, but as soon as the opponent plays another creature, it gets the Shadow Spear on it." I believe Shadow Spear can also make your opponent's permanents lose hexproof and indestructible.
That's correct. Yep.
So if he wants to Stone Rain the Valgavoth Slayer, there's a way. There's a way.
At least the blessing is now a card that you can't whiff with the acolyte. You got something.
Yeah, so I do remember in my first ever game of Theros Beyond Death Limited at the pre-release, I was playing against a friend of mine who had Cure, Best the Sea God, and Dream Trawler, and I was able to win because Shadow Spear made them lose indestructible and
Oh,
hexproof. Made them lose hexproof, so I was able to actually kill those things that would have won the game outright.
that's pretty awesome.
And then my friend
So
just decked. I had no way to actually deal damage, but yeah. So the Shadow Spear won, but not by the normal means. All right. So did he not get something back in hand, or did he get a
So he chose the prophecy out of the graveyard
Oh, right. Okay. Missed that.
over
All
the
right.
blessing, but he has another prophecy in hand. So there'll be another one coming down.
Well, Metamai is hard at work here, prophesizing. All right. So again, these two vengeful possessions in hand, but nothing to do with them. That's the inherent issue with that card. Like if I knew that every time I was going to draw it, I had a sack outlet, I would put them all in my deck. I would draft them as if they were like first pickable, right? If I knew for a
Hmm.
fact that I was going to have a sack outlet every single time. But I mean, he has drawn the Final Vengeance here, but yet again, there's only one creature in play, so we're presented with the same similar issue that we saw last time.
Yeah, and Zev has chosen to keep a final vengeance on top, so that'll be his draw step.
Okay, yeah, sacking the Metamized Prophecy once you've drawn two cards seems completely fine. You could even name Final Vengeance with the Metamized Prophecy. All right. So again, these final vengeances are being used not in the way you would like them to be when you have two vengeful possessions in hand.
No, and you don't want to be trying to push damage when your opponent's at 21, or 19 now.
Yeah, well, they just gained 6 life last couple turns back.
But
All right. So he said, I'm going to chain prophecies here. That's what I'm doing.
what's under the manifest?
I don't. I think it was a land.
Okay.
Don't believe it was a creature. And most of his creatures are small anyways, so
Yeah.
manifesting the majority of his creatures, it would not be a significant upgrade. So he does have options here between Painter's Studio or Most Valuable Slayer. It looks like he's going to go for uh, the Defaced Gallery half, and then he's going to say play the Most Valuable Slayer. Yeah, try and attack here for 4.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's the name of the game, and currently no creatures in hand. So
Yeah, Defaced Gallery, like, it's a pretty strong card. Just like 2 mana, your attacking creatures get +1/+0. There's decks that would just play that, like on its own. Just
yeah.
2 mana, give all your attackers +1/+0. Like, yeah, it's pretty close to like a glorious anthem for the aggro decks. Yeah, so another prophecy here. So
Yeah.
Metamai has
So we're cooking a little
prophesized
bit.
his own prophecy. Right?
And prophesied into an Ephemia and a Fear of Isolation.
Those both seem okay, but I guess he. Which one did he put on the bottom?
No, they're both in hand.
Oh, he drew them right, and then he got to
Yeah.
scry for the other one. Okay, yeah. So he
And
drew
so now
two, then he scried.
we're looping prophecies here.
Suppose so. Yeah. Just recast it, do it again. I mean, he's got time. He's at 15. He's got a Shadow Spear. Opponents not putting huge pressure on. I mean, between the Most Valuable Slayer and the Defaced Gallery, there could be a good amount of damage being thrown around.
We've kept a centipede on top.
Yeah, so if he just Vengeful Possessions the Fear of Isolation here, that is quite a bit of damage coming through. It's 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? It's a
Pretty
lot of
tempting.
damage.
Keep keeping.
He could even unlock the Widow's Walk if he wants for an extra damage. Imagine he's just gonna Vengeful Possession, attack, and then Vengeful Possession again the next turn, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, and that alone could be too much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess before doing that, he can unlock the door and find uh, a land and a cracked skull. I mean, Vengeful Possession's gotta be better. Like you could put the cracked skull in the Fear of Isolation and then like trade it off, but I'd rather just push all the damage. I think. Okay, he's gonna go for
He wants to see what's going on.
the cracked skull play. He's I mean, with 2 removals in hand, you probably just take the threat.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like taking away one of the removals isn't gonna change that much. All right.
He's got more life on the board then.
Yeah, I mean, he could at least attack for 4 here, but attacking both just
Okay.
gives attacking both just gives a free block, right? Is he,
Yeah.
yeah, it just gives a free block. So he basically, oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Okay.
I guess he was respecting turn inside out here. So
Yeah, I don't blame him.
He put the fear in him. He put the fear of the turn inside out. You know, you play enough Duskmourn limited. You see a red man on the other side. You know what's up most of the time. So is this Final Vengeance going to draw 4 cards next turn? Is that what I'm to understand here?
I believe so.
Okay. Um, unsurprisingly, I'm in favor of this. Draw 4 cards. Yeah. All right. Very very cool decks for both players really here. All right, Stick Twister off the top is okay. He's trying to figure out if you just double Vengeful Possessions, that should be enough. Yeah, that's definitely 4, 7, 9 plus 4. Yep. I mean, he just has the double Active Treason. I mean, it's been awkward since the beginning, but he's engineered a board state where he can do it, and he has full information from the Cracked Skull last turn, so he
Yeah,
knows it's safe.
exactly.
And
Everything is on.
yeah, we see the Vengeful Possession just coming in here, just at the end. I mean, they were in the opening hand the whole game. It was a little awkward, and now we see where this card shines. Right, like this is where the card is great when you can just do
Yeah.
this. And
You can tell
yeah,
it's not David's first time piloting a deck like this either.
I imagine not. I imagine he was planning this for a while here. So the 2 Vengeful Possessions come in, swoop in under the Shadow Sphere, threatening to gain some life, and David takes the win here. So congratulations to David, and stick around as he battles Valgavoth in a few moments.